Hi guys, and welcome to my guide of colony survival. Here I'll be showing you several tips and tricks that you might want to know. Starting off with the more basic tips, you probably already know how important it is to have a wall around your settlement, but did you know that the best way to increase the effectiveness of your guards isn't always just adding another guard? Often two or more guards shoot at the same zombie, and each colonist you have increases the amount of zombies spawning. So, to avoid that, guards waste their arrows and their time. Leave several blocks between each one of them, and to increase their effectiveness build a 2-block deep maze. It's much better to use a hole to block the zombies' path, because a wall would hinder your guards' line of sight. Thanks to this maze, your guards have much more time to take down every zombie, and, as you can see in my case, I'm only using 4 guards, 2 at the center and 2 at the sides. Since the tutorial in this game doesn't cover all the information, for example that you only regenerate to 50% health, and can only heal the rest with food, or that by holding shift as you craft, will make you build as much of that item that resides within a single stack of it, but you probably know all this already and you're here for more. But don't worry, because this is exactly what you'll get. Now this is one of my favorites, because it saves you and all your colonists a lot of time, but it's more of a moral choice. It consists in making all the beds, or only some, inaccessible. A colonist that can't reach his bed will stand still waiting until the blocked path opens, but it won't, because you won't open it. Therefore he will wait all night by his workstation until it's day again, and he will continue working without even needing to move from bed to workplace. This is especially useful for saving your miners a lot of time, because usually they are the ones that need the most. It's also always best to make your staircases of 4 blocks, because this will allow you to sprint down from them without taking damage, and it's also faster to climb up because you don't bump your head all the time. I also found out a rather entertaining trick that might be your only salvation if you ever run out of arrows. It consists in placing or removing a block in the zombie's trajectory, but it must be done quickly, because if you place or remove the block too far away from the zombie, his trajectory will change in time for him to avoid it. It works like this because apparently it's a failsafe that the developer made to avoid zombies from getting stuck, or to avoid glitches, but this comes to our advantage, because as you can see, if done correctly, it's just as effective as a bow and arrow. Okay, sorry, now that that's over we can continue. If you were ever unfortunate enough to have zombies pass through your line of defense, the best way to save your colonists isn't to try a lucky shot from afar, but to run towards the zombie until he turns around towards you. This can come in your favor, because zombies prefer royalty, and by that I mean you looking. If a zombie sees you, he will stop chasing whatever colonist he was after, even if he was just one step away from him. Therefore, if you enter the zombie's line of sight, you will then gain the extra time that will allow you to shoot him down. Here's an example. As you can see, the zombie that passed through my defenses ignored the colonists working by the front gate and my tower guard, just to bite that delicious pixely royal flesh. Oh, and here's a tip for resource management and maintenance. Berries are the recommended food product for the first few days, but it's always useful to have 1 or 2 fields, because it's a small but constant growth in food. A berry bush field consists in a determined amount of berry bushes, not tiles, so you can often use it to fill small gaps. Wheat on the other hand produces much more food, if transformed into flour and then bread, so it's always best to further expand your food production with only wheat. Food is a primary need for all your colonists to survive. You can never have too much of it, especially if you're playing at double zombies in daylight and night, like me. It's also always useful to have extra because, in case you make a mistake of some kind, and some colonists die, you can always quickly fill the empty places with other new colonists. Since this game is mostly about management and creativity, here are some building ideas that I came up with.